All right. So the music, I knew immediately whenever the song hit that you that you would freak out about it.
I was jamming out. It's like ding, 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 dee, 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 ding, ding, ding,
Hell
ding, dee, 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 dee. I even tried to learn it. Like I was watching the show and I picked up the guitar. I figured out a few little riffs,
That's
just listening
awesome.
to it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. And I knew, I guess I should say first, you're listening to K.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. And we are, I am Casey Jones. And with me again is my co host, LJ Solar. LJ, how are you today, man?
Again, man, doing fantastic. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Well, we have been watching a whole lot. Yeah, because we have been watching the Justice League Unlimited episode, the Epilogue, season 2, episode 13. This one, you said when we were talking offline that this one was, you were, this one threw you a loop. You didn't.
It was super random because
Yeah.
Initially I was like season 2, episode 13. It's just a random season and a random episode, it seemed
Yep.
like.
But it's one that I picked because I think that it sums up a lot about Batman and everything that I think is kind of unique about that character. Amanda Waller kind of says it. So we'll get started. Let's see. Go like this. Put your hand up. I think you're out of focus.
Oh, dang it, dude. It's out of focus. Better.
Nah.
This damn thing.
Let it out.
Better.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
All right. So we open and someone we don't know. I'm going to assume whenever I saw this, I had not watched. Let's not get into it. Okay. Someone sneaks in to this place and gets all the security out and everything. And she's like, Terry McGinnis. Or do you prefer to be called Batman?
And this was initially it was 65 years in the future.
I don't know. It could have been 65 million years in the future, like Jurassic Park. Who knows?
Hey, is this Amanda Waller the same? Because, the character has some similarities to the Suicide Squad. Dun, dun, dun.
You got it.
I was like, that's the same woman?
Exactly. So I never watched Batman Begins, really. So this is kind of like, this was supposed to be the end to Batman Begins. And if you don't know what that is, or not, Batman Beyond. I'm sorry, I said Batman Begins. It's Batman Beyond. I never watched that. And if you didn't either, that's fine, because that's why I wanted to start us here in this jumping off point.
Okay.
So are you familiar at least with the Justice League cartoon that had like how we see flashbacks of it? Okay. You're at least familiar with that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Terry McGinnis sneaks into Amanda Waller's place and he said he never wanted to be Batman. Then we cut to the clock and we see a fist going through the clock and the clock is destroyed. And that's going to come back later. The clock's always typically the entrance to the Batcave. And Terry asks Bruce.
I was like, damn, he was pissed.
He was pissed. He doesn't care what time it is. Yeah. He asked, Terry asked Bruce how he could do it. And we're not really told what it is at this point. And he lists a bunch of people. He's like, Selena, all the
Dick
Grayson. Yeah, Dick. Dick, LJ, right? Richard. Yeah, that's right. Richard. Yeah, he goes.
And you see Richard. The characters too, their outfits.
Yeah,
there's 4 of them, right? As he's calling their name out.
And like he's like, all these other people, they just couldn't do it.
No.
Bruce is just so cold. He's like, they couldn't, what does he say?
Didn't focus on the mission.
They didn't have the heart for the mission.
Yeah, I was like, focus on the mission.
And that's just like, that's crazy because that's just like the extreme that he's gonna go.
Yeah, and at first when I saw the character, when I saw Batman, I thought, and then I remembered, wait, this is 65 years in the future. Of course, he goes back and he's talking to Bruce, and he's old now. Of course, he's just a human being. He didn't have he didn't have superhuman strength or superpowers like a regular character. He's gonna age,
and we'll get into that later when we'll get into this. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. she just says they didn't have, and they do a jump cut. I love that many jump cuts that they do here, where it's like
they go back, right?
Going back and forth between two scenes, and it's almost like a play where kind of all of this is happening on one stage, and they're kind of cutting back and forth between the two scenes here. That's just how I pictured it in my mind, but I'm crazy. So
yeah, no, and I did have to go back and watch it a few times to get all right, what was happening? Because at first I just see Batman breaking into some mansion, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've been waiting for you, and it's this old lady. Like you don't expect that to be a supervillain that he's going after, right?
Yeah.
So I had to kind of piece it together a little bit to understand the story.
But that's why I thought this would be a great episode, just to kind of throw you in there and just get you, man. This is something kind of deep, and it's really interesting. It's a good character assessment of Batman and what it means to be Batman. Waller says she's been expecting him for some time, and he had the guts to break into the great and powerful Amanda Waller. Then we get the tea set, which is a great kind of dual conversation.
I was like, this disrespectful motherfucker. Like, dude, this old lady is just like, you want some tea and crumpets? And he's like, that shit out of here. I don't want that shit. I want answers.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, man.
Exactly. And the dual conversation, I think that I have written, I think I may be jumping ahead here. But she says, it's been a while since I've had a gentleman call her. Would you like some tea?
Yeah.
And she always says superheroes are good looking. Then we get the flashback or is it a flashback? We'll come to that later on. The black and white scenes where we learn that Terry McGinnis, the young man who has been taking, up until this point, he has just taken the mantle of Batman. He's never even thought that he was Bruce's son or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Because this is what he wants. Yeah. This is what he wants answers about, right? Yeah. That's why he goes and tries to seek her out.
Yeah. We think. So remember, when he goes and sees Bruce the first time, it's a black and white scene too. So let's think about this. I just want you to think about this directional choice of these scenes that are black and white and kind of cut down, as opposed to the normal color scene. So just keep that in your mind as we keep going. So the girlfriend is understanding. She's like, hey, I understand. Oh, you're going to think of that. Everyone's going to figure out that you're Batman. Oh, big fucking deal.
She's like, we've been together forever.
Yeah, still 15 years. Yeah, still not married. She thinks she can deal with it. Terry just says that they've got to break up, and he does it for her. And he says he's sorry. Then it jump cuts back to Amanda Waller's place where he says, I'm sorry. And she says, that she's only had that teacup for 70 years.
Oh, yeah.
70 years. So this is the dual conversation, and I've written it down, where she begins to go off into a tangent about the teacup set. And he begins to go
cool.
Off. Yeah.
And it was a bit humorous too, because I was like, he's like serious. And she's like, well, I can't have a complete China set now, you bastard.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. She says, and this also ties into him being later on, she's like, you can't even find this pattern these days. It's real China, not that synthetic stuff. And he says, how can someone be their own man living someone else's dream? And I think that's it's a great line.
It's interconnected.
Because he's like, I'm Batman now. This mantle, this burden that Bruce took on because his parents died has now been placed on me. And it's like, this sucks. And he's thinking of it from the outside. But Waller says this, and this is a great insight to her character. She says, it's been years since I've had enough friends to use the whole set anyway.
That was sad.
And yeah. And Terry says he wants to know how he can escape the curse of Batman. She says one missing piece and the whole set is ruined, like you said right there. And then we cut to future Parasite. this is, or it's another black and white scene here. And we're set to meant to believe that it's in the future because I see a Green Lantern, an Aqua Girl, a Hawkman, where you with me, where Batman Beyond is like,
yes.
Okay. And then he lands and he's like, I can't help you guys anymore.
I got to roll out. Yeah, because they're like battling. Well, they're in the heat of battle, right? The battle ends, and then this is towards the end where he's like, I got to dip out. That I didn't understand. I don't think I quite understand it still. Like why he's like, all right, deuces, I got to roll.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get to that towards the end. I've got some thoughts about that and other things like some of the people who have worked on this have said. So he says Batman is dead, and he walks away. He doesn't drive. He's walking all the way to the Batcave.
No car. No Uber?
No Uber.
They didn't have
Uber back then. It's like, you've got the boots. Why don't you just keep going? Anyway.
Why don't you just fly?
You just flew there? You've been flying there? So anyway, we cut to back to Amanda Waller's apartment. And did you notice the eye vacuum?
The what?
The eye vacuum. Like the
the little robot that came in and cleaned the shit up and then like rolled out, dude. And that is the premonition to today.
Yes,
because we have iRobots today, yo. I know. I saw that too. And you know what? Now thinking about it, it was just like second nature to me because I was like, oh yeah, she got a little robot coming in, getting this and cleaning this up and then going back to its base. But I didn't think about that I was like, wait, this was like a show in the 90s.
Yeah.
And we have those are a thing now.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like with Lex Luthor, and in the last episode that we did, Lex Luthor and his cell phone, that he's talking on his cell phone, hangs up his cell phone, sets it down, picks up his house phone, and it's like, I'm still talking to you, bitch.
Yeah, right. He's like, that's the type of technology you got around here.
Anyway, it is. It amazed me as a kid. We find out that Bruce had kidney failure. And just as a precaution, I guess, just to try to help him out, Tim decided that he was going to get checked and he was a perfect match. And he's telling Waller this. And he's like, do you know the odds of that? And then we jump cut to the black and white shot of the Batcave. And Bruce says 111 to 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's questioning him too, right? He's
questioning him, yeah. But just remember, this is one of those weird black and white shots. So Terry goes off on a tangent and he's like, my dad was a good man and he did all this stuff. He may have not destroyed the War of 99 or whatever, and and gone toe to toe with Mr. Freeze, but he was a good guy, and so at this point, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that he was his father or that he was like a clone?
My first thought was that, okay, that's his dad and he just hasn't told him this whole time, right? His whole adult life. That's initially what I thought.
But then of
course we find out later
the natural way, right? You thought that he just fathered a kid.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I thought that he had gotten with somebody, got this girl pregnant and then had his son, right? But he just never disclosed that because he was like, you can't fall from me being your real father if I'm going to make you Batman, right?
Yeah.
But we find out later that that's not the case.
Yeah. Terry says that he wants the truth. Bruce says that he thinks he already knows the truth.
Yeah, that's right. Because of course he's telling him all this. So I figured by now he's like, all right, he already knows.
Which is a great line. It's something that Bruce would say, and he says that he's arrogant. He calls him arrogant. And he's like, you need Batman. He's like, it's a fact. So anyway, Terry thinks
can't survive without Batman. Yeah,
a lot of people think that, man, and that's a hardcore debate. Like, anyway, It is.
By far, Batman's the most successful DC comic character, I think.
You're going to get us.
He's at the top of the list.
You're going to get us. We're going to both get us a bunch of hate in the comments. I'm wearing a Superman shirt. They're like, no, what? Batman is statistically speaking. But you did say the DC universe. So I guess, I don't know. We'll edit that in. Okay. So Terry thinks that Bruce set it up, but he says that he's only known him since he was a teenager. And so how could he have set this whole thing up? And he thinks he's lying just because Bruce is. This just shows the distrust that at this point in his life that people have for Bruce. You know, they're just like, they don't trust him. And he says that didn't stop the Joker from using it on Tim Drake. Yeah. Do you know what that is a reference to?
No. I heard him say that, but I don't know who Tim Drake is. No.
So Tim Drake. Sorry, we'll get corrected. Was one of the Robins, and Batman or Robin or Joker, like
locked him up.
Yeah,
marked him
with a crowbar.
Dang, God.
And so anyway,
that's a brutal way to die.
I don't want to spoil the rest of it. We'll just leave it.
You said Tim who?
Tim Drake.
Tim Waller. Oh, Tim Drake.
Not Tim Waller. Tim Waller. Ken Waller. Who are you? This is me,
like Arnold.
Ken Waller. All right. So, accident or not, the world needs Batman. And Terry says something that's crazy. He's like, it turns out maybe everyone was right. Bruce is insane. Batman is a curse, and Tim leaves Bruce just lying with his pills. And
that was messed up, dude. Yeah. I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
because he was like, all right, shit, I'll get down. I'll get my pill. He's got to get his pills, right?
And then we jump cut to Amanda Waller describing all the types of pills that she has to take. And one of them is I can't remember.
Alzheimer's.
Exactly. So she tells
he's like bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. I know. Don't you be lying to me, Amanda Waller. I see you. Up. So we get the Royal Flush Gang. Amanda Waller tells the story of the second or third Royal Flush Gang. And we have Ace, Tin, Jack, and Queen, I believe. And on the hero side,
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they started off as just like, I want to say henchmen for the Joker. And they were just, I want to say this. If I'm wrong, I don't know. People will let us know, LJ. So,
because Chloe and I were watching this together.
Yeah.
And the funniest part was that baby in that little chair just like flying around.
Yes.
Like, what? Because that's the first thing you see and you're like,
exactly. And I have some of that towards the end. I have some facts about the different shapes that they kind of took and why they took them. So
we'll talk about that.
We'll get to get that in maybe trivia time. So anyway, and then on the hero side,
some of that was funny. Some of the transformations were funny.
The transformations back. That's what we're going to get to. The Red Tornado, Hawk Girl, Star Girl, and I believe the other one is Dr. Light. I'm not really sure.
I have never heard of those characters in my fucking life. I was like, dude, whenever I saw them, I was like totally unfamiliar. I was trying to understand who was who. The only person I recognized was Batman.
Oh my God. That's fantastic. No, I love it. It's that's who it is. I believe Red Tornado, Hawk Girl, Star Girl, and Dr. Light. So Amanda Waller steps off and she's all badass. And she says that Ace is having hallucinations and that she's warping realities. And it's going to kill everyone for miles when she dies. You know, so Batman takes it on himself to go
walk in there and do it
and take care of things.
And you know what? Whenever I first saw who that was, I was not expecting this like 14-year-old little girl sitting on a damn swing. I thought it was like a gangster ass dude that was just super evil, waiting to like murk everybody. No, dude, it's this little kid.
And we follow them down the yellow brick road. Did you catch that?
It is yellow. No, I did not.
And the vines.
I saw the little path, but I did not think about that.
It's the yellow brick road. And vines come up and stop the other members of the Justice League from coming through.
Yeah,
we go through a castle. Yep. We go through the garden. And there is Ace sitting on a swing set. And she begins to tell him, he being Batman, pronouns pal, what they've done to him, to her being
not them.
Ace. And
it's he, them, they.
And it's very Stranger Things. Did you get that vibe?
It was, yeah, because it was almost like an alternate reality of weird things that was happening right in that scene with the weird looking trees. And you're right, the vines coming over, and then you walk in, because he walks in and he first sees her, and it's like tranquil in there. It just felt really calm and peaceful, and
the music.
But yet she had gone through this horrific experience as a kid. I did feel bad. And then he was like, I was like, damn, he's got to kill this 14-year-old girl, or however old she is, but she looks really young. And he's like, and then she's like, no, you're not. I read your mind. And I was like, dang. I was like, okay, so he obviously knew that.
Yeah.
And then even a few minutes into the show, it talked about, not in the beginning, but later, Amanda says that that Batman was always 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And that made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense.
He went in there and she was like, you're not going to kill me. And she says he stayed with her until her time came.
Yeah, that was sad, dude.
It was, but I mean, that's what he did. But there's one thing that really stood out. I can't remember where it was, but it was like she says that they took away her childhood, and Bruce says that he understood.
And I was thinking too. I was like, okay, so she's apparently, I think they were waiting on a brain aneurysm.
Yeah,
or she said like shit. That. And I was like, you know what? They were probing her brain when she was young. And I thought, maybe that.
Do you think? It. Why do you think it?
I'm like, why do you think that's why she's gonna die? I'm like, oh, damn it, these dudes.
But I just love that line that she says she was cheated out of a childhood, and Bruce says he understands.
Yeah, because he trained from an early on to because his parents got murked. Right. So that's I understand that.
Yeah. That's just amazing. Let's see. Okay. Waller says that a Batman is always 2 steps ahead, like you said. And then she reveals that she did it. She was the one who set the whole thing up. And she said, you
know what? That doesn't surprise me, because in the freaking, where I really know her, in the Suicide Squad series, right? I'm like, dude, this is a bad bitch right here. She is gangsta, man. She don't give a shit. She will do what she has to do.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, of course. I kind of figured maybe, something like that was going to be connected. She was going to be the one to do it.
Ugh. She said the world needs a Batman. And she mentions Project Catamus, which I would like to point out as Star Labs, which is from our last episode.
Ooh, she did say Star Labs.
She said Cadmus.
Oh, she didn't. Okay, maybe I thought I heard that.
And so I started Project Cadmus. And Project Cadmus is in Star Labs. Just so you know. So that ties back in. Yeah. And she says she was a liaison for the Justice League, and no one was ever really the equivalent to Batman. And she said that he saved the day many times with his wits, body, and will alone. That's
that's true. And if I thought about, like, in a world today, if we had like a Batman to stop the crime, I'd be like, shit, we can't live without a Batman. We need that dude.
Yeah.
But you're right, because he's just human.
He's just human.
In one of the Superman shows, I can't remember. It's one of the newer ones where they bring him back from the dead. I don't know which one that is, but I've seen it.
It's Justice League.
Okay.
Now, which one is the big debate?
What's his name? Ben Affleck.
But there are two. There are two versions of that movie.
This is when they first see him.
I know what you're talking about. The same thing happens in both movies. There are two different cuts to that movie. Do you remember back when we were in college and I said, hey, this is the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. Do you remember that? Okay.
I don't remember that.
Maybe someday we'll go back to that.
Okay.
But
we're going to have a lot to talk about.
We're going to have a lot to talk about. So I'd just like to point out this Superman shirt. Best friend got it for me.
He's going to the telephone. Oh, that's legit, man.
Yep.
I would love to have one of those in my house as just a prop.
Just a phone booth or just a t-shirt?
In the corner. No, an actual phone booth.
Just a t-shirt? Okay.
How cool would that be?
Booth. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a t-shirt hanging in the corner, man.
Yeah, right. But anyway, what I was going back to whenever I was bringing up the movie with Ben Affleck, right? He like tries to beat the shit out of Superman, and Superman's kicking his ass, and he's like, oh, shit, "This dude's about to kill me!" Like I'm like,
he's about to
I'm
kill
just
him.
Human here, just a human.
Yeah, but he's not human. Yeah, I guess he is. Yeah. So,
but going back to what you said, right? He did all that with just his sheer will and human strength. That's all he had.
Yep. And we learned that Waller planned the whole thing. She says that Bruce left his DNA all over town.
And she made a funny.
I've been really trying, baby. Yeah,
and then she was like, "That's not what I meant."
That's not what I meant. I'm glad that you caught that because I was like, "Did this just happen?"
I was like, "Isn't this a kid show?"
No, it just happened so fast. And so she finds two people whose profiles match Bruce's parents. And the gentleman thought he was just getting a flu shot. And it shows like evil termites attaching to DNA.
It's like, I was like, yeah, because I saw that scene. I was like,
that's
what
evil.
The hell is that?
Why?
I was like, that's terrifying.
Of all the ways that you could have depicted that, why did you go with evil termites? It could have been.
It looked weird. It looked pretty wicked.
It was.
Crazy. It was like it was like you were gonna kill that guy. That's what it looked like. He was going to kill the cells, not alter them,
just destroy them. And it's like, well, maybe that's what they did, man. Maybe Bruce is just a parasite. Anyway, they say that half of Bruce's DNA and half the young lady's DNA mixed together to create Terry McGinnis. So if now stay with me here. If they were a genetic match for his parents, wouldn't that be like Bruce had sex with his mom?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, technically.
No, they said they were almost a perfect match.
You know what I caught about when they showed the picture of Bruce as a baby? When he was just born, he was like this. It looked like he was like, I shunned my parents. I don't know. It just looked funny. Like he just kept turning his head. I don't know. It looked like he was looking away.
So then she says that that's only genetics is only half the story. The rest is tragedy. And we see, she's like, stop me if you've heard this one. And we see the movie. Can you hear me all right, LJ? Okay.
Yeah, I was just adjusting.
What? What?
Connection.
So the movie that they're coming out of is called The Gray Ghost Strikes. So that's a reference to Bruce Wayne, his favorite comic book in this TV show that this TV show is based off of. Bruce Wayne's favorite comic was The Gray Ghost, and it was voiced in the TV show earlier by Adam West, who was the 1960s Batman.
No. So in this episode, you hear Adam West's voice?
It's a reference to a reference to a reference. It's like too deep. I guess it's too deep back. Yeah. So the Gray Ghost was played by Adam West in a TV show that was based.
I see. Like okay.
Batman the Animated Series, that this is a kind of a continuation from. Some say it's in an alternate universe, but we'll just say it's a continuation from. And anyway, the Gray Ghost was played by Adam West. So more of that in trivia time. So trivia, whatever. Trivia time. Every time I say trivia time, I think about like Mary Poppins, where it's like just people dancing. The trivia time, trivia. Okay. She said the plan was simple. Yeah. I got more references coming up just right here. Just stay tuned to Capes, Tights, and Lightsabers. Oh, I'm sorry. Dun. I meant to say Capes. Anyway. She said it's going to be, if I do that every time I say Capes, people are going to get sick of it. Anyway. She said the plan was simple. And if you see the person who's hanging out trying to assassinate these folks is the mask of it's the villain from the Mask of the Phantasm. It's the Phantasm. I can't remember what she called herself. But anyway, it's an old
scary dude.
It's a lady.
Come to find out it's a girl. Yeah.
And Bruce was going to marry her. Like in another comic or in another animated TV show or actually animated movie. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. We'll watch it, LJ. There's much more to come. So that's why I'm planting these seeds right here.
And then she doesn't do it.
Can't do it. Because Batman wouldn't kill somebody. Are you stupid? You think you want to make a Batman? How are you going to do? You got to resort to murder. Murder. No.
Just to get this to work?
No.
And then his dad ends up getting murked. Anyway.
And that's what you think it's fate. Is it fate? Like, and that's, I've always kind of liked that because it's kind of a throwaway thing. They're like, well, anyway, he got murdered anyway. It's like, what's it fate? Does the world really need a Batman?
It does. And that's what I thought. Because I was like, oh, he ends up getting murked anyway. So you were destined to be the next Batman.
Waller says that she's found the Lord. And maybe the angels need a sharp sword too. I thought that was a really clever line. Deep. She said that the Lord moves in mysterious ways and we choose our own fate for good or ill.
Yeah, because she says, as the good book says.
Yeah. So, and then now it's like, she says he's not a clone. You're his son. You know, and I love how she says, yeah, it's your dad, Holmes. You ain't got his brain, though. You ain't got his smarts. You're about 2 sizes too small in the brain department.
Sorry
about that. But his heart, though, he has the same heart. You know, that's
why he's successful as Batman.
Yeah. She says something that I really love here. You want to have a better life than the old man. Take care of the people who love you. And that's a very prolific statement because you can see earlier in the scenes where Bruce had gone wrong and all the people that had loved him and trusted him, he had pushed them away.
So I think that is what happened to Dick, Harry, and Mo earlier, or whatever their names were.
No, their names are Dick, Harry, and Mo.
Wait, no, here we go. Brainstorm. Dick. Wait,
that's
no.
Right. Just Dick 3 more times. Richard
the names
and
of those
Dick.
people.
Yeah, for sure.
The names of the people that were the predecessors, right?
Selena, he talks about Catwoman. I mean, Dick, Bruce, or Dick, Tim. I don't know who always says, but Dick a few times. Dick is mentioned just a couple times. Everybody loves Dick, is what I hear.
You know that reference? Oh my God, Richard! Black Sheep, where he. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's get back to this.
All right. So let's see. Yeah, take care of the people who you don't, or don't. Take care of the people who love you. This is a life lesson, dude. Take care of the people who love you or don't. I mean, the choice is up to you. You can end up like the old man, isolated and alone and resentful. Anyway, we cut back to the
deep too. That shit happens.
Yeah, it does. It does more often than you think. We cut back to the mansion, and Terry is sitting at the desk, and he calls his girlfriend and says he wants to meet, and we reveal that he has a ring. He's going to ask her to marry him.
Why don't you just tell me right now? No,
he doesn't want to
wait till Friday.
Yeah, just hold up, dude. Why you gotta know this? Anyway, but that's
it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. He says it is, and that's an awfully small diamond for
a rich ass dude,
someone who, in theory, if you're living the life of Bruce Wayne, I would think that he.
But Casey, isn't this a lesson learned here? It's not the size that matters.
That's right.
It's about what he did. All right.
And that's so deep on so many levels. Bruce comes in and says that he's in his chair. And I love that. You're in my chair. I love it.
Bruce would say that.
Bruce says that he should have called. He says he made soup for him, but it's cold now.
And eat it.
And that doesn't that remind you of something that Alfred has probably done for Bruce many times. He's like
warmed up his food in the microwave.
He's like, I made you soup. It's cold now. Yeah.
Did they have a microwave?
Says they didn't have microwaves, I guess. Well, how many times you heat it, you reheat it again, then
Terry's good.
Yeah. Terry says he didn't mean to make Bruce worry. Bruce says he was worried about Gotham if Batman's not around. I love it. Terry says he's got it covered. Yeah, what are we going to do? Terry says he's got it covered always. I love that.
Yeah, because again, it goes back to his character and his will. And he's like, I got this shit, man. He's like, I know what I'm doing.
Bruce says Kent called. Kent called. You know who that is?
Wait, Kent is the dad, Superman's dad in Smallville, right? Or this.
That's right. Superman's dad called Bruce Wayne's protege, trying to hang out, trying to
is it right?
Some coffee at the Talon or the Talon. They're going to meet up with Chloe at the Talon. Bruce Wayne's protege and Clark Kent's dad are going to meet up with Chloe Sullivan at the Talon. That's what it is.
For real?
Yes.
For real, dude?
That's what I have in my notes here.
No shit. So Kent is really Superman's dad in Smallville?
He's talking about how Superman is still around. He's saying Clark Kent called for you, dude.
Oh, Clark Kent.
Yes. Do you think that? Or did you really think that Jonathan Kent is calling Batman's protege?
Because all I heard was Kent. I didn't hear Clark. Why didn't you say Clark Kent?
No, it's probably Jonathan. Yeah, no, probably Jonathan.
No, it's not Jonathan because at this point,
you mean his 150-year-old dad?
Yeah,
he's calling. He's got some good news. I got to tell you. He said,
"Hey, by the way,
Kent called. It's nothing apocalyptic, but he'd just like your help on something that a case that he's working." He says you can meet him at the old Metro Tower. I can't think of a reference to that except the old Superman 4 where they were like, we're going to meet up at the Metro Club. It's a hip, nice club.
Yeah.
Anyway. And Clark dances. Terry says he better suit up. Bruce says he needs to eat something. Terry says, I'll eat something when I get back. Bruce says, you're a stubborn piece of work. And Terry says, I am, just like my old man.
Yep. Like his real old man.
And I would like you to notice in this color scene, when Terry opens the door to the Batcave and the clock, it's not broken.
Nope, it's not. I noticed that too. I was like, well, of course, they're quadruple billionaires. They probably got to fix, yo.
Yeah.
Right? They can afford that. They don't need to file an insurance claim. It wouldn't have been fixed if they would have filed an insurance claim. Well, it would have been weeks later.
Okay, so there's more to go on to that. There's more to go to that. So,
okay, the clock is fixed.
Anyway, we see a montage of him saying, "Stubborn, just like my old man." Blah blah blah. Anyway, we see a montage of him like flying through the city, through some buildings.
Badass, right?
And then we do see someone says, "Did you see that?" And that's the last line. This movie or this TV show episode was to complete the story arc of Batman Begins or Batman Beyond. I keep saying that. And so I don't know if you know this, but you probably, LJ?
Yeah.
Do you know this? Do you know what I'm about to say?
No.
The last line of this episode is the first line of the episode of Batman the Animated Series. And so, you know how Batman the Animated Series, and then you have Batman Beyond, and then you have this episode. The last line is the exact same first line. Yeah.
That's interesting.
We'll get more to that on
I didn't know that.
Trivia time. Okay, trivia time. All right, so I am going to go over here. And all of this is coming from IMDb, of course. Yeah, trivia time.
Do I got to look at IMDb?
No, you don't have to look. You don't have to. Okay.
I don't.
Let's see. Okay, according to writer Dwayne McDuffie, Bruce, as the world's greatest detective, was aware that Terry and Matt, more on that later, I'll tell you, are his genetic offspring. Anyway, we talked about the Gray Ghost, how that's voiced by Adam West in the TV show Batman the Animated Series. We talked about how the assassin is from Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Oh, here we go. All right, trivia time. The new Royal Flush Gang. This is, you know how we talked about the Royal Flush Gang. So 10 is wearing a white swimsuit and blonde cornrows, just like Bo Derek in the movie 10. I know you don't know that reference. I do. It's got
I know who Bo Derek is.
It's got a lot of boobs in it.
I think I've seen that that picture of her.
Yes, exactly. Coming out of the water. Not the one from last episode with the red bikini.
I don't know. One of those, but I know what you're talking about.
Jack is a samurai, thus putting a spin on the cartoon character Samurai Jack. When this character is returned to normal, he bears a resemblance to Phil Lamar, who voices Samurai Jack.
What?
Queen bears a resemblance to the Queen of Hearts from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, of course. When this character is returned to normal, is revealed to be a man.
It's a dude. Yes.
Thus a drag queen.
No.
And King looks like MODOK, a Marvel character created by Jack Kirby, whose nickname was the King.
The flying dude?
MODOK. He's a character in Marvel, and you'll see him in a few things probably coming up, depending on what time you're listening to this and what time we recorded it. So we don't know. Well, LJ, that's all I have for trivia time. What did you think about this episode?
I thought it was a little random, but now after talking through it, though, a lot of it makes sense to some potential future episodes, right?
Things we can springboard off of and view.
Yeah, and it's getting me a bit more familiar with the DC universe characters, because I'm not. I know more of the Marvel side because
sure,
you know the series is popular.
They're commercially available.
Yes. So this I'm getting used to because this is something I haven't heard or talked about a whole lot of. So it's cool.
Well, we'll talk about it
to understand it now a little bit better.
We'll talk about it offline. I just picked this one just because I love this, and we'll probably watch some more of Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond. But this is a good culmination because I didn't watch Batman Beyond growing up. I love the animated series, but as soon as they're like, we're gonna get rid of Bruce, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't. You're gonna get rid of me. Is what you're getting rid of. And so I was like, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I missed out because it's a great series. And I think if people would give it a shot, I think you got to watch it in order, though. I think things have got to build up because you start off with Batman, the animated series, and he's like fighting low level thugs and doing things like this. And then Justice League comes out and he's kind of with Superman doing a little more high end stuff. And then it just builds and builds, and he's in space and he's controlling this whole kind of thing that's monitoring Earth. It's all different types of Batman, different levels that you can kind of cut into and be like, because that's the problem with a lot of fandom is everyone is super well, this is my Batman. Batman should be he's the Dark Knight. He's the world's greatest detective. He shouldn't be dealing with space. But it's like, man, when you throw him into that, and Amanda Waller says something about that in this episode that we talked about today, about how she was the liaison for the Justice League and how nobody was the equivalent to Batman. And that includes Superman, Wonder Woman, the Green Lantern, Flash. None of them, if she had to pick a team, the first person on that team would be Batman. And that says something to the character. You know,
it does. And I think it's because he's the level-headed human out of the group that contributes to their success as a whole.
Well, we'll get into more of that. Maybe watch some more Justice League. We'll talk offline and kind of see what we can come up. If you have any thoughts about what we should watch, leave so in the comments. I mean, anything you guys would like to hear, we'd like to look into. I'm always a fan of the classic stuff. LJ has probably watched Superman the movie with me quite a few times. Amanda Waller joke. He's left his DNA all over town.
Yeah, so
just like your mom.
Funny, dude. Just like your mom.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk offline. We'll come up with something. If you guys want to hear something, leave a like and subscribe in the comments and let us know what you want to hear, and we'll try to turn that around. I mean, we ain't got nothing to do. We'll try to turn episodes every Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see whenever we can churn these out, but we appreciate you tuning in to one more time before I say it. All right. Yeah. So before I say it, this is I'm Casey Jones and this is LJ Seller. Dude, thanks for coming on again today.
Yes. Good. More good stuff to come. That's for sure.
Something in the new year. We'll talk over lots of things I could introduce you to. Well, all right. Well, we'll see you next time on K.